Yeah. Welcome back to Ask the Mayor Night. We also have Lucy Kemp joining us, the Metro Planning Director, new Metro Planning Director. So congratulations, welcome to the role. We have lots of calls to get to, so we're going to jump right to those. Linda is on the line. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Go ahead with your question.
Well, one thing that bothers me, they're trying to get big companies like Amazon in, and I think they said 50,000 employees. Why do they have to put them downtown, which we have enough problems and traffic down there? Can't they be moved out to Dalton or Bordeaux or some of the areas they say are not developed enough yet?
Okay, interesting question. I'm going to let both of you all take a stab at that. When big companies come calling, how does that go about? Okay. What's the process?
Well, one of the things that we try, first of all, Linda, thank you so much for your question. I think one of the most important planning dilemmas that we have is trying to create opportunities for relationships between new employment centers, offices, as well as existing infrastructure. And typically, some of the best infrastructure that we have is located in and around downtown. That's not to say we don't have traffic issues that need to be addressed, but usually we want to locate new offices where there's access to bus routes, there's proximity to neighborhoods, so that if folks want the option, they can live close to their work. So I think the other piece of it, that's sort of the built environment piece. We always, I think, are looking at opportunities to expand and diversify our employment opportunities for the benefit of our residents and our citizens here. And so we look at good matches, I think, in terms of the companies that might work here and benefit.
Let me ask you, what is the status with Amazon? What have you heard lately?
I haven't heard much about Amazon recently. I know they still have 20 cities they're looking at, and I think they're still working on it on their end. And I guess what I would say about companies like Amazon coming here is that as I talk to them, they generally are looking for a more urban environment in which to locate. I guess that, I don't know if that's part of their employees looking to work in that environment, if it's more about the culture of the company. But generally that's what we're seeing, is that for most of them, they do want to be in the more urban area. Now that's not to say they all have been. We've recently had some business development in Antioch, which is a lot less urban, and so we look for that as well, because we know that not everybody wants to work downtown or travel downtown. So we're looking in all parts of the county. The northwest part, Jolton, Scottsboro, those areas don't currently have the zoning for a lot of this or the necessary infrastructure. So it's a little bit more difficult for us to add those the more service-oriented jobs out in that area.
Okay, let's jump back to the lines. We have Terry waiting ever so patiently. Hi, Terry.
Hi.
Go ahead.
I'd like to ask the mayor, I really have a problem with why I should still live in Nashville when everything is being based basically downtown. All new growth is being basically downtown. None of the outlying counties of Davidson County, none of the outlying areas are being assessed for growth and development. And what happens to our why is Nashville basically downtown and not concerned about their senior citizens who can no longer pay for their bills, or the homeless, or people like that? I'm very concerned, and why should I stay in Nashville?
Linda, I think Terry's touching on a couple of things that we have mentioned. Are we growing too fast? Are people being left behind? And it also brings up the transit plan, which a lot of people attributed the failure with. It just didn't reach out far enough to bring people in from the communities even within Davidson County. I mean, we're not talking to stretching into Wilson or Williamson, but to really bring people in. It was too downtown focused.
A lot to say there, right?
Yeah.
A lot of questions to answer there. So, I mean, I guess what I asked Terry, right? What I would say is that Nashville remains and will be for a long time a very economically vital place. We're going to create more wealth, have more jobs here than we've ever had before. One of the principal economic drivers right now is downtown activity.
Without a doubt.
And so we need to pay attention to that. We need to focus on the needs of downtown as much as we're focusing on the rest of the county. So in the coming weeks, we'll be opening a new community center in Smith Springs, which is in the outlying part of the county, because we know that we need to do things there. In southeast Davidson County, we have a park that's going to be opening in the coming years, a great regional park that part of the community really needs. In terms of why we don't want to grow too fast in areas on the outside of the core is because we really already have some pretty bad traffic problems out in those areas, and a lot of more intense growth in those parts of our community are just going to make that problem a lot worse. That's why we want to build in areas in the core to a great extent where we can add more people without adding a whole lot of new traffic problems. But she's right that we need to stay focused on the fact that we're all here for each other, and in Jolton we need to make sure we're providing the same sort of resources we're providing to people in Green Hills and Antioch and the rest in Bellevue and the rest of the county. And so I think last week or the week before we cut the ribbon on a new ice rink that's going to be out in Bellevue, because we've got a lot of young families out there whose kids want to ice skate, and so we're trying to focus on that. And I know it may not look like it all the time, but we are making progress throughout the county. At the same time that we do have some really big growth in the core of the city, a lot of economic activity here, a lot of taxes being collected in the core.
Lucy, I wonder from your experience, from not just here, but do you often see this tug of war when you have a big boom in a city?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think one thing I would just want Terry and other citizens to know is we have a community-driven vision called Nashville Next that essentially sets the long-term plan for our city from a planning context. And it identifies goals for the built environment related to urban design or to environmental sustainability and the like, but it also identifies areas for growth and for preservation. And not all of the areas for growth are in downtown. We've identified centers of activities and future economic growth and development along our corridors throughout the city. And so, you know, we really envision Nashville to be a place of shorter distances so that you can, you know, walk, drive if you must, get in a bike, but get to where you need to go, be it your school, your church, or your office. And we understand that a lot of those activities aren't necessarily all going to be downtown and shouldn't be. So I think the issues that Terry is raising are actually captured in Nashville Next, and that's what helps us inform our zoning decisions. And so I think that that's something that we've addressed. But as the mayor has said, it can take time to evolve.
Yeah. Okay. Let's jump to Rayburn. Rayburn, you are on the line. Thank you for calling in. What's your question?
Well, my question is, I'm a motorcyclist in the state of Tennessee, and we like to go down to Nashville on Friday and Saturday night and kind of hang around. And there is a lot of tourists that come through. Just for instance, Friday night, we was downtown in front of Benchmark and Big Shots. There is no parking for motorcycles down there except for 6 spots, and that's up there by Hooters. I would like to see some designated motorcycle parking in downtown Nashville. They took it away. We used to park on Broadway. They took it away from us on Broadway. 2nd Avenue, the bar owners there at Big Shots and Benchmark are fine with us parking there, but we've been getting harassed by the city. Officers have been coming up giving us parking tickets and just running us off. And all we're doing is just sitting there listening to music, drinking coffee. You know, and you've got a lot of tourists come through town on the motorcycle.
Okay, you bring up a great point. Thank you, Rayburn. Anybody else bringing this up? Talk to you guys about it? Any plans?
I mean, parking issues are a big question in downtown. We're trying to develop a lot of different sort of interests, both creating a great pedestrian environment, but also giving opportunity for Rayburn here to be able to go down and enjoy the downtown. So parking requirements are a function of the code. they are intended, again, to balance a number of different kinds of issues, but downtown especially is serving a lot of different constituents, and so but I hear the frustration. I understand.
Okay, let's jump to, I think we have Brenda on the line. Brenda, are you there with me?
Yes.
Hi there, go ahead.
Yes, I was calling. I'm concerned about the sidewalks going down Brick Church Pike. There's no sidewalks, and it's very dangerous because a lot of people don't have cars. And I know at one time they was building sidewalks, but not over in that area, but I just don't see them building sidewalks anymore.
All right, thank you for calling in, Brenda. Let's see the response to this. A lot of folks talking about this, especially construction crews blocking sidewalks lately. That's been a big frustration. It is a different issue.
That is a different issue.
They're there, but then they're not.
Yeah. So the city continues to invest in more and more sidewalks, and they're expensive to build. And the further you get out from the core, the more difficult it is to connect houses, because you might be going from a lot that's 50 feet wide to a lot that's 200 feet wide. It just becomes much more expensive. But what we're trying to do is prioritize sidewalks that connect residences to schools and bus stops to residences, so that we're making it easier for people to get around on the sidewalk as we go along. And I know Brick Church Pike has probably got a fair amount of bus traffic on it, a lot of people using the bus there, so that would be an area that would have a high priority as we go forward, just to make sure that we're putting more sidewalks in over there. But you know, we built out this county in the 50s, 60s, and 70s for people to drive a car, right? And so as we did that, we didn't make developers put sidewalks in as they went along, and it would have been really expensive to do so. So it's going to take us some time to get caught up and get sidewalks everywhere we need them.
Is there a way that people can check from their neighborhood? They're like, I wonder if we're on the plan.
Well, I think the first thing to do would be to check with your council member and just talk to them about where they see it. They're going to have the best information about that. But we do maintain a prioritized list of locations for sidewalks as we go forward. But at certain times, council members push harder for money for a particular project to come forward at an earlier time. We had that happen on Hillsborough Road in Green Hills. We added sidewalks there recently, or it seems recently to me. It may have been a couple of years ago. So I mean, the council member is probably going to be the best person to start with.
Okay, so start there so you don't get the runaround there, Brenda. Let's hop to Gwendolyn on the line. Gwendolyn, what's your question tonight?
Hello.
Hi
yes,
there.
I saw the mayor and the CEO of NES on TV about a month or two ago, and they were discussing an initiative between the city and NES to assist citizens, elderly citizens, with energy products,
right?
Like windows and things like that to bring their houses, up.
Sure, energy efficiency, different updates.
Energy efficiency. And I was wondering if there's any type of program down the road for constituents that use gas products.
Okay. And I remember you saying at that press conference that, of course, we carried more of it, that you would hope to expand this program, because it's going to start pretty small. Right, 125 homes. And it's a partnership between the city, TVA, and NES to go out and for people on a fixed income, low income, will help with energy efficiency for their homes. And so it's $1 million grant from TVA, and we're actually looking today. I looked at an application to get a little bit more money to expand that to about 65 other homes, and so we'll be submitting that soon. I'm not sure if there is one with Nashville Gas, or Piedmont, I guess, as we call it now. But I'm sure that if you reach out to them on their website or by phone, they would have information about that. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they had such a program. Yeah, I would too. I would definitely give them a call. They may be able to help you out. All right, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, more of your questions. Stay right where you are.